Good afternoon, my fellow Tottenham fans all across the world, and welcome to We Are Tottenham TV for the pre-match pump-up as we head into another must-win game off the back of last week. We have to back it up. I did promise you guys last week a big scoreline, a clean sheet, and our best performance of the season, and we certainly delivered. But I'm a bit more nervous going into this one. You know, Fulham have made it tough for us this season, but I want to find out where everyone's at heading into this game, who they want to see playing, stuff like that. So I'll be with you up until the hour, and then Jacob will be taking over, bringing you the lineups, along with Kate and Ashmatic to see you all the way throughout up until the watch along. So guys, make sure you do smash the like, do all that great stuff. But look, let's get into it. Jacob. No, Jacob's busy. We'll go down to Kate first. Kate, how are you keeping, my dear?
I'm good, thank you, Dave. You was right last week, spot on, as was my husband who said 4-0. So, yeah, of course, yeah, he's got to be right once a season, and he's been saying 4-0 every week. So, yeah, I'm confident today that we can keep it going.
Confident. We haven't put back-to-back away victories since October. Where does the confidence come from?
Because it's got to change sometime, and I've got a feeling we're going to keep up the momentum today.
Love that. I really do hope so. I hope you're right, Kate. This week, I need you guys to install the confidence into me. Ash, how are you keeping, sir? You confident heading into this game or a bit nervous? Oh, I think you're on mute there, Ash.
I beg your pardon. Start again. I want to big up the panel, first of all. Big up yourselves. Big up yourself, Dave. Big up yourself, Kate, and my boy over there. Jacob, hold tight, everyone in the comments. Big yourselves up each and every time we're reading the comments. You're making the show splendid. People also watching at home, big yourselves up on your mobile devices, etc., etc. But yeah, man, I'm good, man. I'm blessed. What can I say, man? Spurs playing Fulham away. It's going to be a tough game. I honestly think so, because to get back-to-back away wins is never a small feat. Fulham do tend to give the big teams a bit of a run for the money. I know they don't always get the result over the line, but from what I've seen, from what I've watched, they always turn up. They're not a game where we can take them for granted. So I do hold reservations. I'll be honest with you. That's typical Spurs to get like a massive win, a massive victory, and then all of a sudden, like, that's Spurs for you. So that's where my concern comes from. I am hoping for the best, because I look at Fulham. I don't really rate their front line, if I'm being totally honest. I think we've got more quality than them. I think, like, player for player, we're a much better squad. Do you know what I mean? And so that's where my confidence comes in. And I'm like, yeah, we've got the right manager as well. What the players have been saying lately, Kulusevski, of course, of late, and even Bentancur. Yeah, it's giving me kind of the energy I need to go into these games as well, excited as a fan. So that's where I sit at the moment, I'll be honest with you.
No, good. And look, that's one thing I think this team is starting to give us, is the excitement back heading into games. I think, last few years it was a lot different. We were all sort of heading in there fearing the worst, probably expecting the worst, and it was drawn out. It seems like now the games are being blown up too quickly. But Jacob, welcome, my man. I only moved on from you because I thought you were still trying to get logged in and stuff, and I want to give you time, my man. But
I appreciate
look, where are you at heading into today's game? You sort of. Kate is very, very confident that we're going to deliver. Myself and Ash are a bit nervous. What side of the fence do you sit on?
I would say, not to get splinters anywhere, but I do think I'm sitting on a little bit of both. I'm very confident and excited that there's going to be at least 45 minutes of immaculate football. I think we can surmise that in all the games, that even when we've looked poor, we've still had at least 12 to 20 minutes of let's say, Ainge ball. I know some people hate the term, but it's just the easiest way to describe this style and the way that we want to play. So, but also, first and foremost, big up everybody in the chat. Make sure you are hitting a like. And good morning from sunny El Paso to this entire panel. But I'm nervous. I am nervous because, not to name any names, I don't want to name drop this fine morning, but Fulham do have Adama Traore, and this is a guy that I've often warned us about. Last time he played against Tottenham Hotspur, he scored the game-winning goal, and in 2 out of the last 3 matches, he has had a game-winning assist, and he also had a goal as well. So he's a man coming back from injury. He could potentially be a matchup to watch if he starts versus Dragusin when Destiny Udogie pushes up. I'm a little nervous for that, Dave. Bobby De Cordova-Reid is a fine winger as well. They do have some decent attacking options. I know. I actually can't even think of his name. I know his number is 18 or 19. The striker that they're playing.
Munoz or Muniz or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, Frankie Munoz's older brother. That's what it is. Something Muniz, or I don't know who he is, but he's actually been banging some goals as well. Alex Iwobi has been finishing some of his chances, although he's very wasteful. Last time I saw him play in the Manchester United match. But look, I think Dragusin versus Dom is a matchup I'm looking to see. Also, just off of my light amateur research, I don't know what y'all are saying, but I've gone back to their last 5-6 Premier League matches, and when they have less of the ball, they win. When they have more of the ball, they lose. And we're going to have more of the ball, so something's going to give here. Either that trend's going to continue for them, or we're going to interrupt it. I don't know. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen, though.
No, look, I'm definitely excited. I can't wait to get the game underway. I just worry, I think the first half, because we're not scoring or creating a lot of goals in the first half, it leaves us open, for this to go horribly wrong. I would like to see us be a bit more productive in the first half, create a lot more chances. But saying that, Fulham, they don't create a lot of goals, they don't score a lot of goals, so hopefully that works out in our favour too. But look, guys, Mickey van de Ven, of course, we're not expecting him to be anywhere near the lineup today. I think Postecoglou sort of said, he'll return after the international break. It's not serious. But Radu Dragusin came in last week. I thought he had a very good performance. He's a lot quicker than what I thought he was. I think he's a lot better of a passer of the ball than what I originally or sort of initially thought he was. You excited to see him today, Jacob? We'll stick with you on this and work our way back around. And by the way, I think you're missing a trick there. We could have a little, man bun there going on, Jacob. People put the pressure on him in the comments.
You did mention that, and I am going to have to put it up in a bun once we're getting ready to kick off here. But honestly, he came on 0-0, played about 40 minutes. I think if there was a certain somebody that came in that instance, we would not have had a 4-0 victory. We kept a clean sheet, and he was a part of that. I thought he had some good passes. He didn't look like a fish out of water. He didn't look nervous. He looked very much like, I could do this. So to me, he seemed confident. Confidence breeds confidence. When he looks confident, he's playing confidently, got stuck in, and let's be honest, he put his manhood on the line. And what a guy, we always talk about players that we want to sacrifice and give their all. And if that's not giving your all, and he just got up robotically, I don't know how, but shout out to the young man. I think it's because he is a young man, but I think he plays confident, and that makes me a little confident in him. This is going to be his biggest test thus far. First start for Tottenham, obviously, and we'll see what he's made of. This is a great test. It's not one of the big six. It's just Fulham. I'm not trying to downplay Fulham. They are a good side. They have good quality players defensively, in the mid, and offensively. I mean, Paulinho is linked to some of the biggest clubs in the world, so of course they have quality. But my point being is, this is a perfect test. Like, it's when you open a video game and you don't put it on the hardest mode, you put it on the one below, or maybe the one below that, just to see, hey, let me get a handle of this. Perfect test. I think he's going to be able to do it. Obviously, there's a lot of hype around this young man. Everyone wants to get a look at him. He's not going to be Mickey van de Ven. So if you're expecting this blistering pace to clean up after everybody, that's not going to be it. But I'm looking forward to see what he can do for the full 90. Obviously, again, the first 40 was very, very nice. Kept a clean sheet. He was a massive part of that. So I look for more.
Well, we also have unanimous in the comments. People are looking for you to get the Dragusin there, so we need to make that happen over the international break on your return for the pump-ups, Jacob, so everyone keep the pressure on him. But, Kate, a lot of people are expecting big things from Dragusin today, but it's a different sort of question starting again when the game's in the balance. When he came on, we were in the ascendancy. Although it was 0-0, we had Aston Villa on the back foot. We were dominating the game. It wasn't really being tested too much. How do you think he's going to get on today?
Well, I want to big him up, first of all, because he's answered that age-old question of what hurts more, giving birth or getting a ball in the balls, because he got up and just... So we all know now that women do actually have it worse. So big up to him for that. And second of all, I thought his composure was amazing. When he came on, he looks like he's been playing for Tottenham for years. I expect him to be calm, composed, and do his job. He looks mature. He looks like he was completely in control. A couple of people said to me they thought he looked nervous and shaky. I didn't see that at all. So I've got full confidence in the guy to put on a top performance today.
But also, okay, everyone's maybe thinking Dragusin's coming in. Anyone making a case for Ben Davies to come in? I thought he was a decent backup, no?
No, I think Ange put that to bed yesterday when he said, "I'll take the suspense out of it and tell you that Dragusin will be starting." So yeah, I don't expect to see Ben Davies. Thank goodness.
Look, thank God we don't have to have them debates anymore. Hopefully that problem's gone in the summer. Ashmatic, Dragusin, were you surprised last week of how well-rounded he actually is?
He's played at a top level in Serie A. It's not an easy league. And he was one of the leading centre-backs there. Paratici knows what he's doing. It's not, like, he's got evidence. He's got evidence, right? So we look at all the players that we have so far, and the better ones are from him, no? So I'm very confident in the young man. I felt like he was assured when he came on, eager to impress, which I like. He comes from a family of athletes. So there's no wonder he came on straight away and was physically dominating, and his speed people wasn't sure about. For me, he had enough speed to deal with the likes of a Bailey or Watkins. So for me, Fulham don't really have that same threat in behind. I know obviously Adama, Jacob's great. Whether he starts is a different question. I think that would be a trick for Fulham to do, though. Fulham, they should start with him. But if they don't, I think this is the perfect game, in my opinion, to kind of start a Dragusin. Also, technicality on the ball. This is what I want to see from Dragusin. I want to see him put those balls over the top or do those diagonal balls. That's what he's going to bring slightly different to a Van der Ven in possession. And I'm quite excited because there's times where we're going to need to switch the play or play it direct. And we don't want any players hesitating to do those passes when Sonny, when whoever's on our wings are making those early runs, even Papa Sarr's making those early runs. I think Dragusin is going to be the man to hit those type of balls and we can create chances. So I'm pretty excited to see the young man. Also, his aerial ability, Fulham on set pieces, that was one thing I was slightly worried about. But their set piece record hasn't been immaculate, in my opinion, this season. They're not too far off of what we've done. So I just think also going forward, I think when we have a corner, he could be something different. We can utilize him as a weapon. So I'm equally excited to see how he plays, how he gets forward, what we do with him in a tactical sense. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, this is a perfect game for Dragusin, in my opinion.
Look, I think it's a huge opportunity for the guy to showcase, why he should make it into that back four, why Postecoglou should break it up and include him in it. It's a huge opportunity. I think you're right, Ash. I think he'll be a huge benefit from us from defending set pieces, but also attacking set pieces, especially with Porro's delivery. I mean, this season, that's one thing I've been very impressed with is the consistency of Porro's delivery. And hopefully, I mean, it'd be hard to miss Dragusin. So hopefully, we can find him from the set pieces. But look, one thing I took from it is it was nice to feel at ease with a centre back coming on the pitch. In years gone by, I haven't. In years gone by, if it's been a Dyer, Sanchez, people like that, I was worried. And I think many other people have sort of maybe worried a little bit and stuff like that. Whereas when Dragusin came on, we felt confident. And if we're feeling that, you can imagine what the players around them feel, with the confidence and stuff like that. So I think it's a huge plus in that regard in general. And look, hopefully he puts in an absolute outstanding performance there. I would add, I do think Christian Romero has to show his leadership ability. He doesn't have Van de Ven beside him. They've been a great partnership this season. And I just hope Romero doesn't lose his head, panics or stuff like that because he's got a new partner. Now's the time for him to show how far he's come forward, help sort of Dragusin through the game. Direct them, sort of constantly be speaking to him and really show his leadership ability and show that it doesn't matter who's beside him, he's going to be the main man. So an opportunity there for Romero again today to maybe show the world how good he really can be, which is absolutely crucial. And hopefully another clean sheet because I absolutely love clean sheets. My missus doesn't, but I do. So, hopefully we can get another clean sheet. But guys, there is a lot of talk as well around the forward area. You've got Son, who's on absolute fire. I'd argue not at his best last week, but the best players still affect games. Came out with 1 goal, 2 assists. Kulusevski, a massive helping hand in 3 of the goals. Johnson scored. Timo Werner scored off the bench. And we have the added complication, hopefully Jim's watching, of Richarlison hopefully being back today as well, who was on absolute fire before he went injured with 9 goals in 10 games previous to that. So I think there's I would say, a good headache for the first time in the forward areas this season. Jacob, go ahead.
Richarlison, he didn't score in the 2 games previous, so it wasn't 9 and 10. It was 9 and 12, 9 and 13, something like that. Then he went down with the injury. Just want to caveat that.
Okay. Grant. Well, he was still in the form of his life, regardless.
Yes,
so
I agree.
Where are we at with the forward line this week? What do we want to see? We'll start with you on this one, Jacob.
Yeah, for me, I want to see Son through the middle. Son is the number 9. The chances that we are able to get to the number 9 in dangerous areas, anyone on the squad that you want with the ball at their feet, it's Youngmin Son. So for me, it's got to be him every single time through the middle. I think he does a really good job of tracking back, getting that link up play. Whereas, I hear the argument, Richarlison is more of a physical forward, so he's more of a threat aerially in the box, and I understand that. But to me, the way that we score our goals, they look very similar a lot of the times. It's us building out of the back, or if it's not on the counter, it's building out of the back, and then we work it from the side, and it's back post. Whoever can get back post, sometimes second chance opportunities. And to me, it's not individual brilliance that's needed, so that's why I think Richarlison has worked in that 9 very, very well, because he's been able to do his job. I think the 2 best goals I've seen from Richarlison in a Tottenham shirt were versus Everton. Those an outside of the box shot and a beautiful redirection. But for me, Son can do that with his eyes closed very easily, and he can do more. So that's just my number 9. Now, I think for me, winning 4-0 versus Aston Villa away from home, I'm not changing that. Only thing that I think changes is Dragusin for Van de Ven. Outside of that, I'm keeping Brendan Johnson on the left and Kulusevski on the right. I know a lot of people were upset with Kulusevski's first 45. I heard a lot of Spurs fans say he didn't have a good 90 minutes. He only had good moments. And to me, when you contribute when you're a vital role in 3 of the first 4 goals when you win 4-0, that would constitute a good performance from my end. But hey, everyone has their own way that they evaluate players. I thought Brendan Johnson, this may be an exaggeration, but I genuinely believe last match was his best in a Tottenham shirt. I think all most of the things that I have against him in regards to being physical, off of the ball, being physical, tracking back, defense. Matty Cash in his pocket. He was working that man all evening. So to me, Brendan Johnson, if he can continue to build on what he did last match, I thought that was his best match. So I doubted him on the left before. When he first got here, then he went to the right. He saw a little bit more joy, and I was like, clearly I was right. He's not it on the left, but Aston Villa started on the left. I thought him and Van de Ven were our 2 best players in that first half for it being 0-0. They were the most active, the most physical, and the most eager to get into a physical contact. So I'm looking to keep the front 3 the same as last week.
Do you know, I'd agree with you. I think I would keep the same front 3. However, I have to correct you, Jacob. You were wrong, and I was correct on my stats, and I'll prove it just there right now. You go from the Newcastle game where Richarlison hit the form, count to the game where he got injured. That's 10 games, and in that process, he scored 9 goals. So my stats are absolutely spot on in that regard. If you go on to the what's it called, transfer market. Yeah, bring it up. In these last 10 Premier League games,
I believe you. Hey, you got the research.
It is 9 in.
You got the
10.
research.
So don't ever doubt my stats. I'm absolutely spot on with that. So,
I just thought he was at 9 of 10, and then he had a couple games. Mess me.
I will take apologies in the post if anyone wants to deliver them. But Kate, do you agree with Jacob that you would go with the same front 3 this week? I mean, some people might say, look, Brendan Johnson, no one thought he was a shoe in the last game to start after Werner with his best performance against Crystal Palace. But he dropped Werner, brought in Johnson. Do you see Ange maybe doing anything similar today?
You're on mute.
Or Kate, sorry.
Oops.
Wow, this is contagious today, but I've got the excuse of being blonde, Ash. You haven't got that excuse. What I would say is the one player in Fulham's defence that for me is a little bit weak is Anthony Robinson. And so I think Werner's pace, I know Johnson's quick, but I think Werner's pace could really expose him. But I think there's an argument to keep it exactly the same. I think there's an argument to bring Werner in. it's one of those things. It's nice that we can start, say, with the same that we started with last week. And if it's not working, bring someone on. I mean, I'm not Richie's biggest fan, everybody knows, but he's good for aerial threat. If we're finding that we can't score, you know, he's good to get on the end of a header. If Johnson starts, Werner's again another good impact sub to bring on. We're going to have probably the Celso on the bench. It's nice to be able to have options. You know, this is what we've all been crying out for, and finally we've got these options there. So, like I said, there's an argument for both. We're lucky because Johnson's quick, Werner's quick, but I wouldn't be surprised whichever one he chooses, but the chances are we'll probably keep it the same because, as Jacob said, when you beat Villa 4-0, why would you change it?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think it'd be mad to change it today, you know, especially if you want them to click on a consistent basis going forward. Ash, where are you at with that, my man? Do you agree with us three here, or is there any changes you would potentially make today?
No, I was happy with the front three in terms of pressing. I think we've got the highest turnovers in the league now because of it, and Son was a big part of that, in my opinion. I'm not saying Richarlison doesn't press; he does definitely press, but I just like the way the front three was pressing against Aston Villa, and we were forcing errors. And when I look at their wing backs like to get really high and wide, so the space is going to be there to be exploited by our front three, in my opinion. You could argue that maybe you put someone like a Johnson back on the right because of his speed, and then have Werner on the left to expose those wing backs pushing so high up, because that's where the space is going to be hit. But I really think Kulu's crucial on that right wing in terms of our build-up play. I know people get frustrated with him in his final third because sometimes he does take long to, you know, put it onto his left foot, or sometimes he's got an opportunity to cross it on his right and he doesn't. So I do see the credence to that argument. But for me, I like the combination play when we play out from the back. Kulu's sometimes involved with that. Sar's involved with that as well. And if you saw the first goal, it was Kulu and Pedro Porro linking up on that right-hand side. Then it threads through into Sar. Sar's got the legs to find that cross into Maddison. And it's those combination plays that I really like. Every time we score in clusters, it looks like it's a little combinational play that happens. You saw it against Brentford as well, a little combinational play on the left. We saw it against Palace as well, a little combination play. And we just literally hit them 3 or 4 passes, and then before you know it's in the back of the net. It looks like, oh, it's a tap in. No, it starts a lot earlier on, 1-2 touch, and everyone calls it Ange ball. Do you know what I mean? Richarlison, for me, I think he'll be more effective, and I agree with Kate, if you brought him on off the bench in like a second half when legs are tired. It's going to be a nuisance, and then it's a different threat, because then you could whip crosses aerially as well as long on the floor, as opposed to having Son out on the left and having Richarlison up front, and then all of a sudden put Son up front and take Richarlison off. I feel like that way around, we're not as effective, in my opinion. I'd rather have a headache to bring on rather than start him, and then, like, you know, you haven't got another striker like him to bring on to change the game. So yeah, that's my point of view.
Do you know what? Just quickly, I completely agree. Look, for me, Richarlison, how fit is he to start today? Ange did say, you know, Friday, it depends on how he comes through training. So I don't think he'll start today, but I would say it'd be a good option to come off the bench if we're still chasing the game and we need to mix it up a bit, put balls in the box, let him go and attack it. Me, personally, I would start with Kulusevski. I think it's hard to drop a guy that was involved in 3 of the 4 goals. Son, you know, wasn't at his best last week, but still found a way of impacting the game. And I think we're going to see much better from him. If anyone's going to step up in the London Derby, it's been proved over the seasons that it's going to be Son. So I expect a big game from him today. And Brennan Johnson as well. Look, I've had my critics of him, but I do think he deserves to start. Coming off the bench against Palace, amazing impact, and he followed that up with a great performance last week against Aston Villa. I'd argue for the 90 minutes, I thought he was the best of the front 3. You know, he was constantly looking to get on the ball, constantly looking to try things and stuff like that. Kulu turned up for one half and Sonny turned up for one half. I think Johnson was probing all game long, so I do think he deserves to start. But I do believe the lineups are out.
We are got him. You were right, Dave. You were spot on, my friend. And you know what? This photo that they're using, I may have to put the bun. You might be right. I might have to put the bun on my...
It's not. I would say it's not Dragusin's best photo. I was looking for photos of him yesterday. It's better out there.
Yeah, his beard kind of looks uneven. I feel like they kind of could have. Maybe this was the day he signed and he was kind of all over the place, a little flustered. The beard wasn't quite on point. I don't know. But as you called it, Dave, front line looks like Son through the middle, Johnson on the left, Kulusevski on the right, Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Romero, Dragusin. Dave, I know you got to go. I have put the channel link in
Oh, yeah, I see it there.
in the chat. So make sure you do subscribe to Dave. He does have to go and get ready on his own channel, but you can find more of Dave at the Irish Hotspur. There's the link. Click it, subscribe. Dave, score before you go?
Yeah, look, do you know what? Despite me being a bit nervous today, I think we might back it up. I'm going to go with a clean sheet, Tottenham 3-0. I'm going to go with Dragusin to score. I think set piece, I think, might happen. And I think some will score. I don't know why. I've had a feeling all week we might get Richarlison off the bench to score one as well. So let's wait and see what happens there. But I'm going 3-0. Hopefully I'm right again this week. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Everyone, make sure you give your support to the likes of Jacob, Kay, and Ashmatic. They provide a great show for you. They're here longer than what I am. So please make sure you get over there, smash the subscribe button, show them the love. But most importantly, go and enjoy the game of football, and hopefully we'll speak to you after it. As always, come on, you Spurs, and the big hands we trust. We never stop. See you all soon.
Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Dave. Big up. There he goes, the Irish Hotspur. Make sure you do subscribe to him. I also have here Fulham's lineup. And guys and gals, you'll rest assured Adama is on the bench. So we're going to be okay for just a moment. All right, we'll start the game. We'll be all right. Adama didn't make the starting lineup. But, Kate, I'll throw it to you first. You see this lineup. Obviously, the only change from Aston Villa is the Dragon. Are you still feeling as confident? Does this reassert the confidence you had at the beginning of the show?
Yeah, I feel more confident. I don't know why. No, maybe not more. Just the same. It's the team that, apart from obviously the Dragon, who I've got full faith in anyway, but it's the team that won comfortably at Villa. And yeah, I think we'll soak up the pressure in the first half and really kick in the second half like we did last week. That's how I see it going. But no, I can't see anything except a Spurs win. And I'm not the most optimistic person, but I am super confident today.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident too, and it's almost, as Spurs fans, we get a little reluctant when we start feeling so confident. Like, yeah, I feel good about this lineup. I feel like we're gonna do something. Ash, what about you? I just pulled up Fulham's lineup here. Frankie Muniz is going to be their starting striker, and I apologize, I don't know his first name. But when I look at this Willian Andres Iwobi, they got 3 goals versus Brighton when Brighton wanted all of the ball. So they've shown that on the counter they can be lethal with this front. This pretty sure I'm gonna look it up while you answer this, Ash, but pretty sure when they beat Manchester United, when they beat Brighton, this was their starting 11. So when you see their starting 11, obviously Tosin Adarabioyo is someone that we were linked with in the summer. Anthony Robinson is my American brethren. I do believe he's a quality left back. I would love him in the summer to back up Destiny Udoka, to be that guy that, and instead of Emerson Royale, give me Anthony Robinson. But we're not here to talk about that. Ash, how confident are you with our lineup? Does this lineup threaten you in any way?
I've always said it's not the individuals from Fulham that worry me. It's the way they play as a unit, the way they set up. I think they're very well organized. Against the top teams, they do well for a reason. So they've had an extra day to prepare and watch us against Villa. So they're going to know where to kind of exploit us. And Marco Silva's probably done his homework. The way they set up also with a 4-2-3-1, I think Paulinho, when they're playing out from the back, I would stick a man on him because he helps their progression when they're trying to move up the pitch. So I'll be very aggressive on him. And also Andreas Pereira, he's like their number 8/10. He kind of helps to get the ball into players like Willian or Wobi, or saying. So sometimes he drags across and he does that little combination play where he pulls off to the right, links up, makes little triangles, and that sometimes can be a threat for us. So those are the 2 players I think are of quality. Also, again, I've already talked about the turnovers. I want us to keep that up because when I watched them versus Aston Villa got the job done at their ground as well, because their home form has been a lot better than their away form. That's where they pick up most of their points. And I just think when you pounce on their mistakes, that's what Premiership's all about. Just trying to create scenarios where they give the ball away, and we just take full advantage of that. Again, I already spoke about set pieces. I think Dave also alluded to that as well. I think set piece could be crucial in this game, and we need to take advantage of that if we can get a goal from that particular area, because they're not particularly great at defending set pieces. Also, I think some of their players get a little bit confident out from the back. So Tosin is a ball carrier, so is Bassi. So if we could put them under pressure again, once they're kind of like on the ball, that could be another way in as well, just to cause a little bit of problems for Fulham. I'm just trying to think, how can we disrupt this team? And those are the ways I would look to exploit Fulham moving forward. But yeah, going back to Spurs, I want to see big performances. Like, again, Basuma. I think Basuma was crucial to some of our presses. I think he really did a number on their midfield, on Douglas Luiz. I think he did well against also McGinn as well. At times, he was able to press and win the ball back. So again, I think him being that kind of, presence in that midfield, I need him to win that battle. Sar's going to do what Sar does. He's really good in tight spaces. He's good at carrying the ball. He's instinctive, and he's really brave in possession. I just want to see more bravery from Basuma as well. If Basuma is brave, has got cojones, then we're going to see a great performance from Spurs, in my opinion. The front three will do what the front three do, but we just need to play that ball a little bit quicker, in my opinion, especially in that first 45 minutes, because the runs are being made, but we just need to find those players in those positions and hurt teams when we can. Out of the two teams, I think we're a lot more clinical. I know your boy Adama with the baby oil and the muscles on the show.
Hey.
He's not clinical enough. He's not clinical enough. He has been
2 out of the last 3 games. He has a GA, but
this season he has been a lot better. But I have seen
last time we played Adama Traore when he was at Wolves. Last time we saw Adama Traore play against Spurs, he hit the game-winning goal. I'm just here saying, like Dave, he brought his facts, the stats to back it up. This is one man that I got the stats on as well, Adama Traore.
But you know what? I just did the eye test because I could have argued with him about Richarlison. Richarlison in the build-up's poor. It's been letting me down in terms of his held-up, his link-up play. He's not as good as Son's. So yes, he's been getting the goals, but that's down to the team more than him.
I agree. I just prop up Adama anytime I can, because I still remain by the fact we should have signed him instead of Brian Hill, and we would have actually gotten something out of it more than Brian Hill. At least I can say that confidently.
I was on the other train secretly, but it is what it is. Like, in terms of finishing, that's what stops him from getting to the elite teams, in my opinion. But yeah, he's a step up from Brian Hill. He's a step up. Like, Brian Hill didn't goal contributions hardly any for us. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, there it is. But there's also Ash's channel in the chat. It is not in the title of this video, but you can still go subscribe to him at Spurs King TV on YouTube. But look, speaking of Richarlison is on the bench. So the bench goes as this. Brandon Austin's the backup goalkeeper. Emerson Royale, Ben Davies, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Oliver Skip, Bentancur, Lo Celso, Timo Werner, and Richarlison. Kate, what is our threat off the bench? Do you think that, and how soon would you like to see some kind of moving and grooving? Like, if you think about versus Aston Villa, obviously the first half we went goalless, but I don't think it was until later on in the second half when we actually started banging goals. Were you patient enough with the subs last week? Do you want to see subs quicker this week? Where are you at with the bench?
I think it all depends on how the game's going. Although last week I thought we was in control really for the most of the game, so I was never really that worried watching the game. But obviously, if we're sitting watching it and we're not creating and we're not taking control of the ball, then I like to see a sub sort of 60, 65 minutes. But it all depends how the game's going. Obviously, Bentancur can come off the bench and be dangerous. Werner, Richarlison, Lo Celso, they can all offer something a bit different. I mean, they'll be boosted today, Fulham, because they've got Jimenez back. He's on their bench today, and he's been out with a thigh injury. So they'll probably be boosted by the fact that they've got him on the bench. But like I say, it's difficult to say at what minute I'd like to see subs come on, because it all depends how we're playing. If we're controlling the ball, then no need. But if we're struggling to put it in the back of the net, that's when someone like Richarlison needs to come on and we can start trying to get him on the end of a few headers, and hopefully he'll score that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. For me, I think the bench is looking a lot better now, especially we don't have two goalkeepers on it. There was a point in time this season, lest we forget, we had two goalkeepers on the bench, and I think no defenders at all. I think Dorrington maybe, but no senior defenders. We have been a shambles of a bench, and to actually see some viable options there. I think I made it go away. There it is. But I mean, Timo Werner, he can come on and offer you a dimension, or excuse me, a dynamic, maybe not a multiple dynamics, but he can definitely offer you something. And Richarlison, same thing. I think if we're getting overrun with that back line, but I don't really, again, I'm looking at Tosin, Bassi. I don't see them. They're not the biggest, most physical defenders. Calvin Bassi, last time we played him, had 2 mistakes leading to 2 Tottenham Hotspur goals. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't say I'm too concerned about Sonny being overpowered there. And even if he is, when he's not getting those touches, he will drop back into the space and receive the ball and start helping with the link up. So in regards to the bench, I feel pretty confident. In regards to the starting 11, I feel very confident. So I do think it is one of those, this is our game to lose. It is in our hands. Our destiny is in our hands as far as top 4 is concerned. Before I ask for score predictions in the chat and from the panel, is this game a must win? Is a draw considered a loss? For me, it is. We have to win 3 points. I don't care if we win by 1 goal or 3 goals. We have to get the 3 points. This is one of those matches, much like for me, Everton, getting a draw versus Everton, that wasn't good enough. That is a clear losing versus Wolves. Those were 4 points dropped. If we had those 4 points, we could actually still legitimately say we have a chance of finishing 3rd or 2nd. Anything would be possible at that point. But dropping those 4 points, if there was another 2 points dropped today, to me, that's considered a loss. Ash, I'll throw it to you first. Do you think this is a loss if we get a draw today? For me, it's got to be 3 points again.
Yeah, we would have defeated the whole purpose of getting that 4-0 away victory against Aston Villa. We need to capitalize on that. We've got a game in hand, but it's useless if we drop points here. We need to win our game in hand, and then that puts pressure on Villa going into West Ham away, and they could drop points, and then we could be in the top 4 before they even know it. Looking at the bench, I think, the bench now, we're looking a lot more solid. To Kate's point, we can actually affect the game, bring someone on. If the passing's not as slick as we need it to be, or it's not moving fast enough, we've got an option of Bentancur, but I usually say Højbjerg, because I think when Højbjerg's come on, he's actually moved the ball a lot quicker and more direct into the front 3, in my opinion. When he started, he hasn't looked as good. He looks a bit lethargic or a bit lost sometimes. But when he comes on, he's a lot more imposing. So we've got 2 players there that could disrupt their style of play. I think the way they play, as I said before, with their wing backs hugging the touchline, we use our wingers to hug the touchline. But the danger for us is Willian and Iwobi. What they do, their front 3 plays a lot more narrow. And now what that means is that their wingers are a lot closer to their striker, so they can make a lot more passing triangles. And also, they can also pack the midfield with Paulinho and their Lukic midfielder. So that could be a struggle for us sometimes, where they're matching us up, midfielder versus our inverted fullbacks in the Doggy and Porro. I think the Doggy, we haven't mentioned him. I thought he played exceptionally well alongside Johnson. I felt they had a great relationship, and he was making those underlapping runs and sometimes overlapping runs. And he even made a good cross into the box, but no one was there in the first half. I feel like if they can carry on that kind of relationship, and the Doggy does those type of runs, he's going to cause all sorts of trouble for Fulham. If they've got Robertson pushing high up, he's going to pin them back in. So those fullbacks will to get high up. We're going to have a lot more possession of the ball. And then it's up to us, as we all know, Spurs fans, not to do that. What's it called? The horseshoe. Where we
Horseshoe
pass
Hotspur.
Yeah, exactly. And we get frustrated as fans. But it's natural tactic. Man City do it. Arsenal do it. All the top teams do it. But it's just down to being patient enough, knowing when to pick that pass and find that gap in their front or back line. Do you know what I mean? So then we can score the goals. But yeah, it's just about us understanding what to do, pulling teams apart, bringing them to one side, and then those gaps will open up, then we can score goals, man. That's what I think. But yeah, dropping points for me is a no-no. We need a win and a performance as well to go along with it. But we've only got 10 to 9 games. We've got 10 to 9 games. So every game now is almost like, dare I say it, a final. I don't want to. I was like, final. Yeah.
Kate, I want to ask you, just plain and simple, Spurs fans, we all know it. When we're supposed to win, we're supposed to get the 3 points. It's a banana peel just waiting around the corner. Does today have that banana peel feel for you? To me, away from home, we've only lost twice. I think it is.
I think every game when you're a Spurs fan has that potential, to be honest. It really does, because we're one of them teams that when we're expected to win, we lose. And when we're expected to lose, we usually win. But do you know what? Everybody wants to get rid of this tag that we're Spursy. And I hate using that term because I hate the term. But it's games like this where we need to win to say, do you know what? Our mentality is changing. You know, we're not going to drop off. We're going to step up and say this fourth spot is ours. You know, if you want it, you're going to have to fight really hard to get it, because we're not going to drop points. So that's the main thing for me, getting the mentality into the team that, yes, we beat Villa 4-0, but that's gone now. Now you have to win this game. And then when you win this game, you've got to win the next game. And just, keep going on that way. I mean, I expect Villa to drop points tomorrow against their away to West Ham. But we can't take that for granted. We've got to just do our thing. If we win, we can't, we're in control. We're in control of our own destiny, as you said. So as long as we do our thing and keep getting the 3 points, that's all we can do.
Yeah, I do agree. But look, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting close to the end of the show. And as you know, I like to do here when I do the takeover on the Pump Up We Are Tottenham TV, which make sure you hit a like for Ben and Sim. Come on now. You hit a like. I've heard the more likes on the video, the more of a chance Tottenham Hotspur win. Now, I don't know if it's true, but let's find out. Hit that like. Only one way to find out. I will also say this. I like to do here the last 10 minutes of the show. Now, there is 900 people right now watching, so it's going to be logistically impossible to get through everybody's. But I'm going to ask the panel, who's scoring the goals and what is the final score today? The chat, same question for you. Goal scores and final score. What is going to happen today? Ash, I'm going to throw it to you first. And again, before I give mine, I will go through as many in the chat as humanly possible. But again, there's 900 of you beautiful bastards here. It's going to be impossible to get through them all. But Ash, what's the final score? Who's scoring the goals?
We're going to do almost like a repeat of the home game. I think they may score. I think they may get they might get a goal, but ultimately we're going to get the win 2-1. Madison's going to do what Madison does. He's going to drop deep because that's what he likes to dictate the play at times. People get frustrated that, Madison's so far back up. Why is Madison there? He needs to be further forward. And I agree. When he's further forward, he's more effective. We do need to pop shots outside the box. That's something we've been missing time and time after again. It's so frustrating. Why are we not shooting outside the box? We keep trying to do a pass too many, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like when Madison and Son get back to that relationship, when they just used to be Batman and Robin, they used to be like, it was like almost like a new dynamic for Kane and Son. Now we've got Madison and Son now. And I almost feel that's the reason why Madison drops back certain times, to kind of start that attack when we're not quite getting over the line. He finds the space and he tries to do the passes outside of his boot. I like to see Son dropping deep sometimes, not like Madison deep, like just in a 10 position. And then I want Madison to run in behind and get those cheeky goals, because that's what he did for us in the reverse fixture at home. He actually did that, coming in from late, coming off the wing, scoring a goal with Son setting them up. I would like to see Son shoot from outside the box, because I think he's really good with his right foot and his left foot. That would be nice. I'm not asking for too much, but yeah. And as I said before, if like a bonus set piece, I would love a set piece goal as well, because that would do the boys a lot of confidence that, we've got it in our locker and we need to take advantage of that. So I'm going to go for Spurs 2-1. Come on, you Spurs, man. Coys all the way.
Hey, all right. Coys. I like it. Kate, same question for you. What's the final score today? Who's scoring the goals?
I am going 3-1 to Spurs, and I am going Johnson, Sonny, and Timo to get one off the bench. Yeah, that's what we'll go for. I'm not sure who's going to score the Fulham goal. I'm quite frankly, I don't care. So
would you sign Timo if he carries on his trajectory, like he carries on goals?
I said it 2 weeks ago. I'd sign him for the money. I just think it's a no-brainer. I like him. I think there's real potential there, and you're never going to get.
Did he win
anyone.
you over with the boost gumps? Is that where it was?
he won me over 2 weeks ago.
I get the boost gums. How do you say the boost gums? I was like,
I did a show 2 weeks ago and said we should sign him, and everyone was like, even Jim was like, no. And now they're all saying, you know what? I think we should sign him.
Same thing, Kay. I did with Kuva, and I was doing. Should we? Is he worth it? And since then, I think he's gotten a goal and an assist since I did that show. And I remember Kuva said the same thing. He's like, no, he's not good enough. And to me, I kind of echoed the same thing. I felt like signing him would be a symbol of the old times of how Tottenham used to go. Oh, we need a winger with 17 mil on a Timo Werner. But honestly, when you deep it in the system, we don't need individual brilliance out of the left or the right wing. We need what he can do, which is to run with the ball, to get in behind, and just make that final pass or be at the back post when we're working on the opposite end.
But guys, but sorry to interrupt. But Johnson, where do you think he plays best off, the left or the right? And that's to the comments as well. And you at home, where does Johnson play best? Does he play best on the left, or does he play? Because we haven't seen.
There's 7 minutes left in the show, and I don't know if we'll get to the bottom of that because that is a all-season question. I think it's going to be a great question to raise now and in the summer. But let's get through some of the chat's score predictions as I promised before I give you mine. We got Bob down under with a 4-0 Spurs. Son Johnson first half, Richie and Timo in the second half. I like that score. Boonsing Lee's got a 2-0 Son. Madison winning. Tech has got a 2-1 Sonny and Matters. Lucas Colta says Pedro Porro hat trick 3-0. I need him to open up his score sheet for sure. Nico's got a 2-2 Desmond. Steak Alexander Hilton says 3-0, 2 for Son, 1 for Johnson. Legends got a 4-1 Richie, Son, Werner, and Kulu. Gemini's got a 3-1 Kulu, Son, Madison. Jack Bloom with a Spurs 3-1. Nick Carey, Dragusin, Son, and Richie 3-1. Mark News says 4-1 Tottenham, Madison, Sonny, and Richie. DB with a 1-3. Don't know who's winning. I'm taking it as Tottenham. Archibald 3-0. Johnson, Madison, and Son. Love to see that. Cam Reddish says 0-2. Dragusin and Werner score. I like that. Udogi and Romero to get on the score sheet. Hey, talk to me nicely. 2-0 Spurs from Robert Clapham. Hey, clap them nice and clap them every time. Son and Brennan Johnson score. Kulu assists 3-1 from LOL Nori. I like that prediction as well. Multi-Content says Madison and Kulusevski. Munoz for Fulham. 2-1 win for us. That's what you said there, Ash, huh? Y'all on the same page. Kantem got a 0-2. Spurs, come on, you Spurs. Joris Wouters says 3-1 Johnson, Sonny, and a late Timo goal. And Legends throwing Vicario in there for a goal. Why not? Son and Werner, last minute clutch, maybe Johnson. So 3-1 from Kazoot. Kem Pro's got 3-0 Son. With a hat trick. Hey, Son with a hat trick. I like to see it. Owl. Hey, last time we wore the away shirt, I believe he did have a hat trick. So lest we forget. Ben Ashraf says final score 3-1 Son, Madison, Timo, Swimmaster. 3-0 Tottenham win. Heiko Player says 3-0 Kulusevski, Johnson, and Sarr will score. That's a good shout. I feel like someone in this midfield is going to score today. Something telling me that. Sonny hat trick, Pedro Porro, and Dragusin header like that. Rudy Tootie says 4-1 Spurs. Radu with a header in the box from a Pedro Porro corner. Matthew Anders says Werner 2, Son 2, and Sarr 1. That's 5. Wow. Kaylee Davis all the way from Seattle. Good morning. Spurs 3-2 Fulham. I like that as well. Dylan says 2-1 Romero and Madison. I like that. Debut goal for Dragusin from Ken's gaming channel. I like to see that too. Son 2, Madison 1, 3-1 Spurs from Camvan Goma. How you doing? 5-1 Son hat trick, Johnson and Madison. 3-0. We got some 3-0s. 3-1 from Jack Bloom. Chris Lee says 3-0. Come on, you Spurs with a 3-0. Kate, 9 million to 0. That's very nice. Kate's undefeated. Skunkworks, 3-2 win. Come on, you Spurs. Squeaky Bum returns. Squeaky Bum time. Yeah, Ash, you predicted 2-1. Are we saying Squeaky Bum time? Is that what today's going to be?
I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's not going to be as smooth. I'm saying we're going to get the job done. I'm just showing a bit of respect to Fulham because I have seen what they've done against United. I've seen what they've done against Arsenal. I've seen what they've done against Brighton. I've seen like even though they're not high up the table, like I just feel like against the better teams, sometimes they've just been unlucky. It's been unlucky. Even against the lesser teams, they've been like they lost to Wolves. But if you ever watch the Wolves game, there's no way they should have lost that game. No way. And that's all it is. That's what I'm just going from what I see. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope we win like convincingly. I hope we blow them out the water, and I hope all of our players just turn up because, as I said before, I am getting confidence from the Kulizeski coming out about the feeling about Chelsea, even though we lost 4-1. Like for me, like when you come out and talk about that, it's more than football. It's emotion, and that's what it's all about. You understand?
You know what? I got pelters on every rival channel I went to after that Chelsea, and everyone's like, "How can you defend Ainge? How naive of him to do? How dare you defend? It's such a mistake." I'm like, this wasn't a mistake. Are you telling me the Alamo in San Antonio, Texas was a mistake? Because it's not. And anyone in America knows exactly what I'm talking about because they teach everybody to remember the Alamo. Yes, it is a symbol of a fort in which Americans lost in the war, but it was a symbol of never backing down from what you believe in and what you're trying to accomplish. Regardless, you have 2,000 Spaniards bowing down on you and 105 other folks in this little tiny hut. We're going to war, baby. It don't matter if I have 5. And Ainge echoed the same sentiments after the match. He said, if we had 5 players on the pitch, we're playing the same way. We never stop, mate. That's who we are. And honestly, talk to me nicely, Ainge. Every press conference, Ainge is talking to me and all the tourist fans nicely. He said, I guess I'm plastic. Hey, if Ainge is plastic, I'm plastic, baby. But that's neither here nor there. Big up 7 with a 2-1. Alpha's got a 3-1 Spurs. Madison, Son double. Son brace for Tyler, 3-0. D God. Hey, we got a lot of clean sheets here in the chat. And honestly, big up to everyone who did get those in. But look, it is time for me to give my score prediction. I apologize for those of you that I am skipping past because, like I said, there's 900 of you in the chat, 900 of you beautiful folks. No excuse for the video to not be on 900 likes to show Ben and Sim that myself, Kate, and Ash, and Dave, we're all doing a great job here on these pre-match pump-ups. So, and it's absolutely free to do. But the score prediction for me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying 4-1. Tottenham Hotspur. Come on now. Woohoo. Talk to me nicely. Hey, I might just be feeling the buzz from last week, but going away to Villa Park, if we could go away to Villa Park, who we're legitimately battling for top 4, we should be able to go to old Craven Cottage Cheese place and make ourselves a nice little dish. Give me some cottage pies. I learned what that was this week. All right. I'm telling you and everybody listening, 4-1. That's my expectation. And hey, you know who that won. You know who's getting an assist or a goal for that one for Fulham. It's going to be a Dama Traore off the bench at some point. But for Tottenham, I got Son with the brace. I think Brennan Johnson gets another goal, and I think Kulu's assisting 2 of those, or just winning the ball back and giving it to a guy who assists it, like he did last week. And I think either like Udogie or Sarr is going to get on the score sheet. I think Destiny's going to be pushing forward. He's going to be one to prove that, hey, I am the best left back in the league. And I'm going to end the show with this. I'm saying Destiny Ugodi is the best left back in the league, top 3 in the world. Can you name me? And there's only 2 other that I put like in and around. I don't even know if they're better. I'm just saying I could hear the argument for Alphonso Davies, Theo Hernandez of AC Milan. Outside of that is Destiny, baby. That's the next one. I can't think of another name. So for me, a little controversy there. But look, you can find Kate and Ash at their channels. I have put them in the chat throughout the entirety of the show. And Ash, I'm going to drop his link in there one more time. It is not in the description of this title. Unfortunately, YouTube limits the amount of characters you can put in a title. But I just dropped the link right there for Ashmatic. You can go subscribe to him there. And Kate, you got any final words while I put your link in the chat as well?
No, just that, yeah, we never stop, and Big Ange will get us the victory today. I'm absolutely sure of it. So, yeah, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. There's the link there for Kate as well. You can sub to her at Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. The link for my channel is below. But everyone, stick right where you are. The watch along begins oh so very soon. right here on We Are Tottenham TV. So stick around, hang out for the boys. Make sure you hit a like if you haven't already. And as always, Ash, you want to sign us out?
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Goose.